Today, I will be presenting about Aristotle, one of the most influential philosophers in history. Aristotle contributed greatly to many fields, including philosophy, science, education, politics, and ethics. His ideas about knowledge, morality, and learning continue to influence modern society today. In this presentation, I will explain Aristotle's biography, core philosophical principles, contributions, and impacts, and the last is his key works. First, let me introduce Aristotle's background. Aristotle was born in 384 BCE in ancient Greece and died in 322 BCE. He lived during the classical Greek period, a time when philosophy, science, and politics developed rapidly. During this period, Greek city-states, especially Athens, became important centers of learning and intellectual discussion. Aristotle studied at Plato's academy for about 20 years and was strongly influenced by Plato's ideas. However, Aristotle later developed his own philosophy based on observation, logic, and evidence. Unlike Plato, who focused more on abstract ideas, Aristotle believed that people should understand the world by studying real experience. Later, Aristotle became the teacher of Alexander the Great, where he shared his knowledge about philosophy, politics, and science. Because of his wide interests and research, Aristotle became known as one of the greatest thinkers in Western history. Next, I will explain Aristotle's core philosophical principles, including his key beliefs, educational principles, and moral principles. One of Aristotle's main beliefs is empiricism. Aristotle believed that knowledge begins with observation and experience. This means people should learn by studying the real world, collecting evidence, and using reasoning to understand things. The idea became an important foundation for modern scientific methods. Another important concept is virtue ethics. Aristotle believed that being a good person is not only about following rules, but about developing good character. Qualities such as honesty, courage, and responsibility are developed through continuous practice until they become habits. Aristotle also introduced the golden mean, also known as the doctrine of the mean. He believed that moral behavior exists between two extreme situations. For example, courage is the balance between being too fearful and being too reckless. This teaches people to make balanced and wise decisions. Another key idea is teleology, which means everything has a purpose of goal. Aristotle believed that humans achieve a meaningful life by developing their abilities and fulfilling their purpose. In terms of educational principles, Aristotle believed education should develop both the intellect and character. This is known as holistic education, where students learn knowledge while also developing moral values. He also supported learning by doing. Aristotle believed students learn better through practical activities, experiments, and real-life problem-solving instead of only memorizing information. For moral principles, Aristotle emphasized habitual practice and practical wisdoms, phronesis. He believed people become morally good by repeatedly practicing good actions and using wisdom to make appropriate decisions in different situations. Moving on to Aristotle's contribution and impacts. Aristotle made major contributions to philosophy, society, and education. In philosophy, he developed formal logic, virtue ethics, and empirical observation. His methods of logical thinking help people analyze information and make reasonable conclusions. His focus on evidence also influenced the development of modern science. In education, Aristotle introduced ideas such as holistic learning and learning by doing. He believed education should not only provide knowledge but also prepare individuals to become responsible members of society. He also established the Lyceum, where students learn through research, discussion, and observation. Aristotle's ideas remain relevant today. His concept of character development influenced modern education by teaching values such as responsibility and ethical behavior. His emphasis on evidence-based thinking supports modern research and scientific investigation. Furthermore, his belief in lifelong learning encouraged people to continue improving themselves through experience and reflection. Last, I will discuss Aristotle's key works. The first important work is Nicomachean Ethics. This book focuses on moral philosophy and explains Aristotle's idea of eudaimonia, which means human flourishing or achieving a meaningful and successful life. In this book, Aristotle explained that true happiness does not come from wealth or pleasure alone. Instead, it comes from developing good character and practicing virtues. He also introduced the golden mean, which teaches people to make balanced choice. Another important work is Politics. In this book, Aristotle discussed government, citizenship, education, and the role of society. He believed that a good government should help people achieve a better life. He also wrote Metaphysics, which explores questions about reality, existence, and the causes of things. Lastly, Politics focused on literature and drama, especially tragedy and storytelling. These ideas continue to influence modern writers and storytelling techniques. In conclusion, Aristotle was a philosopher whose ideas influenced many areas of human knowledge. His beliefs about observation, logical reasoning, moral development, and practical learning are still valuable today. Through his philosophy, Aristotle taught us that education is not only about gaining knowledge but also about developing good character and becoming better individuals. Thank you for listening.